Hi everybody, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mariah and I talk about books up here. Today we are going to be going over my first iteration of my TBR game, TBRNIUM. TBRNIUM is loosely based on the idea of Cranium. It has a very similar board. I set it all up via Tabletop Simulator on Steam. So let's go into the explanation of it now.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the very first round of TBRNIUM. As you can see, this is a virtual simulated tabletop game that I created using Tabletop Simulator. There's my piece. Now each of these dots has a separate color. The red is nonfiction, the yellow is my TBR jar, the blue is recommendations from other people, indicated here, and the green are the highest and lowest rated from several websites. The purple are my choice. Now the center has 4 separate reading challenges, as you can see here. When I reach the center, I have to pull from one of these 4 decks, depending on where I land. And that will be my challenge card. Here I'm rolling the dice for the very first time. And I get a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blue. So this is a recommendation card. Let's see who I need a book recommended by. It is a boyfriend pick.
The first prompt that was chosen was the boyfriend pick. So my boyfriend already came in and picked a book for me, and he picked Blind Man's Bluff, The Untold Story of American Submarine Espionage by Sherry Sontag and Christopher Drew. It's a nonfiction about submarines and espionage. It's pretty self-explanatory. So that is the boyfriend pick. It's pretty hefty. I would say 497 pages, so almost 500 pages. So that should be fun. And I'll probably be replacing that copy when I'm done reading.
Alright, so roll number 2. I'm picking up the dice here. I have to roll each one of these individually. So the first one is 1. The second one is a 6. I got 7 twice in a row, which means I will have to roll again at the end to total 7 books. I got a red, which again is nonfiction. And what is the card? Disaster or...
Alright, next we pulled a red card, which is our nonfiction category. So this card said a nonfiction book about a disaster or an event. And for that I chose In Harm's Way by Doug Stanton. This is about the sinking of the USS Indianapolis and the extraordinary story of its survivors. The USS Indianapolis was a cruiser in World War II that was sunk by the Japanese on a return from a mission. Nobody knew exactly where she was, and for that reason, when she started sinking, there were a lot of survivors who were stranded in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So on impact, 300 men died, and then 900 more were thrown into the ocean to survive. When help finally arrived for these men, only 317 were left. Only 317 were left alive. This is a really important part of naval history, and it's a sad but a very fascinating tale. So I'm really looking forward to reading this.
So third roll. The first one is a 3, and the second one is also a 3. So that puts us at a yellow, which again is TBR jar.
Alright, our next pick is our TBR jar. So I have my TBR jar right here. It's just a little tin that I got from an owl crate. I think this one was right about when the Cruel Prince was big. So I'm just going to shake this and pull a book from it. Alright, and this book is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is the first book in the Wheel of Time series, and I don't really know a whole lot about it. It's my dad's favorite series, so I wanted to read it to be able to enjoy one of his favorite fantasy series, but it's a little bit of a chunker. 800 and wait. Only 814 pages. It's fine.
Alright, roll number 4. Let's see what it has in store for us. A 1 and a 3. That is 4, which will put me on another yellow, which is another TBR jar pick.
And we pulled another yellow card. So that means another pick from our TBR jar. I'm hoping that the TBR gods will be kind to me and not give me another, tome to read. Alright, and this book, A Darkness Forged in Fire by Chris Evans. Not exactly what I was hoping for. This is A Darkness Forged in Fire by Chris Evans. It is the book 1 of the Iron Elves series, which it's a high fantasy about an elf who was part of an elite squad known as the Iron Elves, that even though iron burned them, they still worked with it for the sake of the Empire. And something happens and he ends up leaving the army in disgrace until one day Her Imperial Majesty calls him back to be an officer effective immediately. And I'm really excited for this book. I started reading this book, I must have been in high school, and my copy had defective. So this part was the book and this part was the first half of the book. So it was really sad. I'm really excited to read this again. I remember really, really liking it. Also, that cover is, I don't know what it is about the pearlescent blue covers lately, but they're on point.
Okay, 4th roll. And we get a 4 and a 3. Which gives us a green. Highest rated on...
Okay, our next pick was the highest rated on Goodreads. So the highest rated on my Goodreads was actually The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. But after doing a lot of research and going to Brandon Sanderson's website and other websites that have to do with reading the Cosmere universe, that is not one of the series that they recommend starting with, so I'm going to postpone that until I can start with the series that Brandon Sanderson himself recommends. So the next one on my Goodreads TBR that was highest rated is Mohammed, His Life, based on the early sources by Martin Lings. I'm getting my bachelor's degree. I'm actually 3 classes away from completing my bachelor's degree in Middle Eastern Studies. So I already know a lot about the region, I know a lot about Islam, and I know some about Life Muhammad, so I'm really looking forward to adding to that repertoire and getting a more rounded perspective. This had 4.79 stars on Goodreads.
5th roll. Let's see what we're getting. So we got a 6 and a 3. So that gives us 9. 3, 4, 5. And with this roll, we entered into the middle. So we pulled the Modern Mrs. Darcy Reading Challenge. And the card we got was a book published the decade you were born.
Next, we reached the middle, and we reached the challenge of Modern Mrs. Darcy's Reading Challenge 2020, and the prompt was, choose a book that was published in the decade you were born. I was born in the 90s. The book that I chose for that was The Time of Contempt, the second book in the Witcher series. I'm very, very excited to continue the series. It's a fascinating world, and I really enjoy how it's based off Slavic mythology. If you have any other Slavic mythology recommendations down below, that's not really one I've read a whole lot of, so please recommend me books so I can add them to my YouTube recommends card.
7th roll, and here we go. So I'm back at the beginning, just as I was when we first first started because I came out of that middle section. And now we're going to make the roll. So 3 and 2, which gives us 5, which puts us on another nonfiction. And this card is a memoir.
Finally, we pulled another nonfiction, and that nonfiction was supposed to be a memoir. So I chose the very short book of Make Your Bed, Little Things That Can Change Your Life and Maybe the World by Admiral William McRaven, retired. This was originally a commencement speech at the University of Texas in 2014 and has since become a book that involves stories from his life and stories from the lives of people that he knows to kind of make it a memoir / self-help book. So I'm really excited to read this. I really enjoyed his speech. Alright, and that wraps up our first round of TBRNIUM. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was a lot of fun to do, and I can't wait to dive into these books. It is a very non-fiction heavy month and a tome heavy month, but I'm still really, really excited. So let's get thank you so much for stopping by. Please, if you have a TBR game, link it down below so I can check it out. These are some of my favorite videos. Please add any suggestions down below as well. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. And I'll see you guys next time.